What up, my fellow YouTube nerds and my fellow fantasy football nerds of this week 2 of the 2019 NFL season. This is my first ever, what would you call it? It's the sit and starts of certain fantasy football teams. They have sent me their advice. They have asked me their questions on what I would do for their roster spots, who I would sit, who I would start with their complete roster or their lack thereof. They've either picked some good people up or they have some tough spots of people or players that they haven't actually done well with in week 1. So now they have some tough decisions. So I'm here with just a few questions that I got off of Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I got a few off of YouTube. I don't have a lot, but I just felt like I should post them for what I think I would do for it, because really I feel like it might help you guys out with your rosters. I know not everyone's are gonna have this dilemma, because some are pretty easy dilemmas, some are a little bit harder. But for me, it tends to help the more information you get. I listen to a lot of YouTube channels and podcasts myself. My favorite one is the Fantasy Footballers. Shout out to you guys. You guys are awesome. I love you. I listen to you guys every day. Just thought you guys should listen to them. I'll put the link in there in my bio below, because man, if you love fantasy football and you need some information, they are the guys. They're awesome. They started with just their 3 friends in a room. I'm just one guy in a room right now, but I hope I expand just like they did. I mean, if not, I'm just happy doing what I did. But without further ado, this is my sit and starts for certain fantasy rosters that people have asked me through do theirs. So first one's gonna be through a YouTube comment. It's gonna be, is it Chris Carson or James Conner? Which one would you start if you had both of them? Obviously James Conner went probably higher, 2nd, 3rd round. Chris Carson probably dropped to like a 3rd or 4th or 5th rounder. But right now, Chris Carson is kind of the hot hand. I would honestly go with Chris Carson over James Conner if you had to, only because Pete Carroll is a man of his word. He told you guys he was gonna give Chris Carson the ball. He was gonna feed him it. The offense is gonna run through that guy, and it did week 1, and he's gonna keep doing it. So, and with James Conner, he just didn't live up to expectations from year 1. I think year 1 was more of a, no teams were really expecting him. They didn't know how to game plan for him, and now he's kind of getting the wear and tear on him. He was a low round pick. He wasn't expected to ever really be a starter for another few years, at least maybe a couple years at the most, and then he got thrown into that spot. He did great last year, but now he's not. I don't think he's going to be as good. Chris Carson, he's in a great offense. He has a great quarterback, good wide receivers. He has a good line. I think he's really going to step it up with an even better defense. So when the defense can hold him to low points, they're going to run it more. So to my YouTube commenter, Chris Carson, man, do it all the way. Another one comes to me through actually one of my fantasy football leagues. I saw this and they asked me through one of their comments would you play Aaron Rodgers or Big Ben this week? That's actually a pretty tough one for me, because Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback, but Big Ben obviously has the better play. So obviously the Steelers are playing against Seattle at Steelers, but the Packers have the harder matchup. I would personally go with Aaron Rodgers still. He has the better upside. I mean, I know he might throw an interception, maybe, but I think he's actually going to throw 3 touchdowns at least in this one. I know that's a bit of a stretch. It's not easy to say that, but it's a gut feeling, and I try to go with gut feelings. I mean, Big Ben, he might go for 2 touchdowns, but they're going to probably give it to one of the running backs, fullbacks even. Like, they're going to try to mix it up and show them that they have a complete offense. I don't feel like they're going to put it on Big Ben all the way. So, Aaron Rodgers all the way, because Aaron Jones won't do crap again. I don't like Aaron Jones that much. He's not that great. They're going to have to go on Aaron Rodgers all year. And I love Aaron Rodgers. He's great. He's in his prime still. But next is going to be the big one. Not a big one, but pretty big one. It's if Antonio Brown plays. The big if. I mean, I've heard this one a lot on podcasts and YouTube, whatever, like even on Instagram. Because I ask people on Instagram as well, tell me or ask me any questions. I don't get as many on there, but man, the freaking Twitter and YouTube blow up. So the big question is, Antonio Brown or Josh Gordon? If they're both playing, who would you play? And you had both of them. Honestly, I don't like I don't like Antonio Brown as a person right now. I barely like him on the Patriots because I feel like the Patriots could have done great without him. They signed him because they can always sign whoever they want. But he is a great player. He can do whatever he wants. There's no wide receivers. You don't really need a lot of practice to really get into the groove. They can really just let you know what your calls are and what to do on those calls, and you can pretty much implement yourself within a week or two. With that being said, I still pick Gordon because Josh Gordon has been around for a year and a half. He knows what he's doing. He's actually shaped up. He knows how to act like a Patriot for the most part. But at the same time, I mean, and also, actually, he's built just like Antonio Brown. He's tall, physical, or actually, he's bigger than Antonio Brown, and he's just as fast. So, really, he's a little bit better. I mean, maybe Antonio Brown's a little bit faster, but really, you can go with whatever you need to. I think Josh Gordon will really just get you the points that you need, though. Against Miami, they might play Antonio Brown sparingly in like 20 plays. Josh Gordon would be there for like 30 plays. So I think you would have a better bet going with the play total. After this is going to be a waiver wire one that I got today. It was a good one. I wasn't expecting this one, but it makes a lot of sense because if you got both these guys in your waiver wire because you were depleted in wide receiver, you thought maybe an Chris Evans or whatever was going to do better, or maybe just you had wide receivers that kind of collapsed on you. I'm sorry I can't think of them off the top of my head, but wide receivers tend to roller coaster on you, and so maybe you had to pick up a couple of good ones. And you maybe have to put one in your flex. So this guy asked me, would you play John Brown from Buffalo or Hollywood Brown from Baltimore? And man, was that a tough one for me. I had to look up their college stats, look up their last year stats, everything. Not an easy go-to. Not easy to just pick one off the top of my head. This is why we have these lists, because you got to think about them. You got to really stroll with them. Even tonight, I mean, right now I'm watching the Carolina and Tampa Bay game, and I chose Moore over Greg Olsen as my flex. And right now, I am halfway down on points, and I really hope it picks it back up. But either way, I chose what I chose, and I have both of them. I have DJ Moore, I have Greg Olsen, and I pocketed Greg Olsen for a reason. This is why. He's a beast, man. He can just run routes, he can kill it. But these are tough decisions. I mean, it's a flip of a coin sometimes. So you have John Brown from Buffalo, or you have Hollywood Brown from Baltimore. Honestly, I'll go John Brown because he's going to get the receptions. Hollywood Brown's coming off the surgery or the injury. I forget which one it is. But coming off injuries or surgeries isn't great. They had him on a snap count last weekend of 14 snaps, and they might bump it up to 20. But John Brown's going to be in there. Like I said, you always go for the snap count. He's going to be in there for 30, 35 snaps. It means he's at least going to get himself 7 to 8 catches at the bare minimum. You want to go for high ceiling, not a low floor. I mean, you want to have that good middle ground. So John Brown, you're going to kill it, man. I believe in you. I don't believe in Buffalo by chance, but I believe in you, man. I mean, it's not always going to be that way. I'm not going to say John Brown every week, but man, I think he really will do really well. Number 5 is going to be a little bit easier. Someone asked me if they'd play Austin Eckler over Sony Michel. I get it. You're going matchup over just pure talent. I get it. It's hard to just say that pure talent might not win against maybe a harder defense, but Sony Michel really, he has to separate, or he has to. Sony Michel, he really has this just divvy up the possessions and everything. He has he's not going to be in every time. They have Burkhead, they have James White. They're going to have to separate all the snaps. So it's hard to say that he could be better than Eckler when Eckler's going to get 75% of the snaps probably over Jackson, which is reasonable. And then number 6, David Njoku or Darren Waller. I got this one on Instagram. Pretty interesting because Njoku is obviously proven, but Darren Waller is going to not have a lot of competition. And actually, I have the same predicament in my league because it's my team. But I mean, I didn't ask this, but still, it's still going to be a little bit of a problem. Njoku has a harder matchup against the Jets defense, but Darren Waller has less proven time, and he has the drug issue, blah blah blah, and he has injuries. But honestly, I'm gonna personally tell you I'm gonna play Darren Waller because his upside's a little bit better. I know Njoku will probably get a touchdown, and I'm probably gonna hate myself, but Darren Waller is definitely gonna do a little bit better, and really, he's gonna probably have a better upside throughout the whole year anyways. So I really hate to say it, but yeah, Darren Waller is gonna be my play this week. And actually, I even had Greg Olsen to play, and he's tearing it up right now. So it kind of sucks, but at least I have 3 good tight ends. Not 3 graded tight ends, but at least I have 3 good ones. And then last but not least, I got asked about defenses. That's pretty funny. I don't get asked that a lot. But this one's actually a good enough one for me to put up here. Last but not least, it's the Patriots defense against the Bears defense. The Patriots are going against an easy team. It's pretty much them going against a college team in the Dolphins. Sorry, Miami, but you kind of suck this year. You're gonna have the first pick next year, so I hope you choose something good. But also the Bears have a really good defense, but they're gonna be in Mile High Stadium with the Broncos, which it's higher altitude. They get a little more out of breath. It's not as easy. So again, it's matchup versus skill. For me, I'm gonna go for skill again. It's actually no, sorry, scratch that. Going against matchup on this one. It's gonna be Patriots on this one because man, the Dolphins just feel like they just want to get spanked all year. They don't seem to want to play. They don't seem to care to play. They want to collect their paychecks and get out the door every Sunday. And also the Patriots are the best. Unfortunately, I mean, not for me, but for the rest of the league, they're pretty much really tough this year, and they're just going to keep killing it. So Patriots defense all the way. If you can pick them up on waiver wires, I'm sure you can. I think they're only in like 50% of the leagues right now, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less in some leagues. But for the most part, I saw it at about like 55% of leagues that they're picked up in. So they're not the best defense, but they can do really well for you in this 1 week if you're streaming defenses, which a lot of people do. I don't. I tend to try to stick with team or players and defenses throughout the year, and then maybe have backups that I can flip out of. But streaming is pretty hard to do because you like to guarantee that you know what you're doing, or you know how the team's going to do against you. So it's kind of unfair because you want to say how some player will do against you when a player kind of will come up out of nowhere in 1 week. In week 12 or week 8, they'll come up and just destroy you, and it'll make you angry. I mean, that's why I don't stream. I mean, you can't even predict how your own players are going to do, let alone opposite players. So streaming defenses, not for me. The only thing I'll stream is a kicker. I mean, and that's few and far between. I'll stream a kicker every like 4 weeks. So with that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this week for my starts and sits of questions I got for fantasy football teams. I really appreciate you guys listening to me. I hope you guys leave a like, a comment, leave a comment and let me know how I've been doing and how I can do better. Subscribe if you can, because I'm going to do way more videos throughout the year, throughout this fantasy football year, and after that for other things. Again, this is my list because that's all I do throughout the day is just write down a bunch of crap. That's how much of a fantasy football nerd I am. But really appreciate you guys listening to me. Try to keep this as short as possible, but try to keep it as in-depth as possible too. So I've been Daniel. You guys have been awesome. I really hope you guys enjoy this Sunday. I'm probably going to post one more video of my starts of my starts and sits of just in general, if I can get that list done by this week. If not, I'm going to be doing that for next week of just the whole starters of every position. It's a hard one, especially when you work full time. You're just sitting there writing down freaking 200 names of who you like more and who you like less, and you got to be really thorough with it. So I'm trying to get that one down, but I'm gonna have that one down by next week. So again, thank you guys so much for listening. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and I hope you enjoy this football Sunday. Have a good one. Thank you so much. Peace.